trust your crypto assets to centralized exchanges that actively sell your private information and front-run your trades? Would you like to buy and sell your assets without any middlemen, intermediaries, or robots? Do you like paying slippage, fees, and having the price go up as bots steal from you on low-liquidity decentralized exchanges? The solution is nodemarket.io. Set your guaranteed buy or sell price. No middlemen, no slippage, no bots, ever. Buy or sell 1, 10, or even 10 million tokens, and you never have to worry. OTC trades are between you and the seller or buyer, guaranteed by audited smart contracts and no human middlemen. Nodemarket.io.
All right. Let's see. Hello. There. I like the wide one better. There. TV view. All these views. We got a lot of views down on the left, middle, bigger. Oh, that's a good one. Hello. Right. Angle. Well, what a difference a day makes. Good and bad. Sunday, amazing. Monday, good for a little while. And then everything shit the bed. So, what's going on, bro? Well, a lot of stuff. So it turns out that maybe we were right yesterday when we were speculating that you can't just have XRP, Solana, and Cardano in the whatever this strategic reserve is. There's been a lot of pushback. So my guess is things are still very liquidy and fluidy. My guess is this. Trump had meetings with all these douchebags, the douchebags at Ripple, the douchebags at Solana, the VCs that pumped that thing because it was always garbage tech, and the douchebaggery of Cardano. I don't think he met with Charles because Charles, they'd never let him in there, but he met with some people. My guess is this was not Trump. This was Barron and all those other weirdos pushing Pops to make this statement because it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it only makes sense in the context of if you've been buying and stockpiling those assets. So I was reading some articles. Hello. Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, that would be awesome. So the tweets, as you guys know, they sparked a fierce amount of debate, which jacked the markets up, liquidated a bunch of people short. People went long. They started getting liquidated. It's gotten real bad. Like 300 or 400 billion in market cap bad in like a day. People are getting effing wrecked. So, but I did find a pretty good piece about it, about how the strategic reserve cannot scale. Looking at new cars. Well, we're still waiting for the Rolls-Royce Nightingale, but that's a while away. The new Lamborghini is kind of trash. I know it sounds bad. It's very stupid looking. It's super fast. But we passed on it. We didn't even get one, or we're not going to get one. At least not now. The body style's crap. The Temerario, for those of you that are, it's the replacement for the Huracan. Isn't it funny that the Huracan costs $275K and the replacement is $400K? Like, what the heck are these guys smoking? Anyway, we were like, nope, no thanks. They're like, do you want to come test drive it? Nope. Do you want to see it? Not really. It looks like crap. We've seen it on the internet. We don't have any desire. And no one's asking for it. So I think Lamborghini made some huge mistakes pushing their SE, the hybrid for the Urus. People don't want a V8 hybrid or a V6 hybrid. In a Lamborghini, they want a V10 or a V12, and that's it. I think they forgot who they're selling to. Anyway, there you go, Mark. Okay, so let's talk the concept of the strategic reserve and the concept, and then the idea that's kind of making its way around. So the concept of a U.S. strategic reserve, obviously the idea has been floating around for a while, and you have a lot of states that are pushing towards something like this. Many states, great states. So the idea that a government stockpile of digital assets somehow fits into the original vision of Bitcoin is a bit laughable. So there's something particularly concerning about the actual assets chosen to make up the reserve, right? And again, we talked about this yesterday. Cardano, XRP, Solana. We're going to go through each one of these so that everyone knows we're not haters, we're staters. We're stating that this strategic reserve is supposed to consist of assets that are essential in times of crisis, like food, oil, medical supplies, products to produce weapons, rare earth minerals, something that a nation might need to rely on in an emergency, whether it's war or an economic catastrophe or a breakdown of supply chains or like some kind of civil war scenario, whatever. A strategic reserve is supposed to be assets that are essential. So now I don't know, again, we don't know if this is Trump, because there's a working group that's going to do all this. None of this stuff goes from Trump into law. What happens is it goes to this working committee, this group, and they will determine, and then they will put it to Congress, and Congress will vote yay or nay, and to what extent. So a lot of this is politicking, again, but these three assets do not belong, and you cannot make any kind of rational crisis reserve, strategic reserve argument. You cannot make it. But we're going to break it down. We're not just going to cast dispersions. We're going to break it down a little bit. So you have Cardano, which this guy refers to as the slow, clunky experiment in academia masquerading as a blockchain. I kind of agree. So is Cardano, well, let's show of hands here. Is Cardano capable of being a reserve asset? Reserve. Time of emergency, we have Cardano. Yay or nay? What say you, people of Digital Investor? No, I agree with you. I would say no. I would say no trucking way. All right. XRP, owned and managed by Ripple, a bank settlement layer that neither scales nor works for banks, nor works with banks, nor is accepted by banks, nor settles. It's a settlement layer that doesn't settle. run by thieves that were caught and got found guilty. So does XRP deserve to be a reserve asset? In a time of emergency, we could turn to XRP to do what? Well, we can send it to our friends. Sweet. Can they do anything with it? No, they cannot. They can sell it for USDC or Bitcoin. So there is no argument. And even if you're an XRP, look, listen, I have a shitbox full of Cardano, a lot. Even after I sold over the years, I still have a lot of Cardano. It is in my best interest to pump this project, but it's garbage. Like, garbage is garbage. And masquerading as a reserve asset is a bunch of politicking bullshit. It just is. And then Solana, which, to be fair, a lot of people use Solana. Not a lot of smart people. The people that use Solana don't care that it breaks all the time. They don't care that it's on weak rails. They don't care that it was pushed by scumbags with kind of very mediocre kind of blockchain skills. They don't care about these things, right? So Solana, the blockchain so fragile that a stiff breeze will knock it offline. Does Solana deserve to be a reserve asset, a time of emergency reserve asset? And let me see, Randy, I don't know. If it's me that's glitchy, then everybody would be experiencing it. So I'm not sure, buddy. I'm not sure. Yan is Nayu, Randy. I don't know. Okay, and if you guys are experiencing audio issues, let me know. Okay, so let's break it down. We don't want to just, you know what? Maybe we haven't. Maybe we didn't dig in enough. Let's roll up our sleeves. Okay, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's start with Cardano, the blockchain that doesn't even fit its own freaking blocks. The Ethereum co-founder, Charles Hoskinson, who there's many things to like about Charles. There's also a lot of things not to like about him. The king of big promises, big emotional, heartfelt videos that never quite delivers anything. I mean, nothing. Fucking nothing. This guy is a nothing burger. And it's unfortunate because he's super smart, but he gets in his own way. And he's created this big convoluted fucking mess. It's a bowling ball so big you can't even get it started rolling down the lane. Right? Like, he spent years boasting about how Cardano would revolutionize blockchain. Whenever you hear revolutionize, you always got to be like, you got to be a little uncomfortable. Big words, braggadocious speech. It's starting to sound like Janet, right? They're going to do, everything's going to be peer reviewed. Great. I like peer review. It's awesome. If you have 40 years to work on something, peer review is an excellent way to approach it. And a slow, methodical approach to development. That's what they do. That's what Cardano do. And while the papers are cool and the thought process is really good, the reality is its blockchain is a piece of shit. It struggles to fit more than a handful of transactions per block. They've been promising this and that and Hydra and 1 million transactions a second. Great promises. Nothing has been delivered. Cardano has not delivered. It just hasn't. I mean, it's made a lot of people a lot of money, but that's not delivering on your promise of technology. The block size problem. Cardano operates with a pretty small block size of 88 KB, 88 kilobytes. Recently increased from 72 in 2022. So it's 72, now it's 88, compared to even BSV. Remember Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, that Craig Wright creep? 4 gigabyte blocks. I mean, come on, man, goddamn. Transaction per second limitations. Despite claiming scalability, Cardano averages 1 transaction per second under normal conditions. Think about that for a second. Oh, we're going to do 1 million transactions a second and all this kind of shit. 1 transaction per second under normal conditions with a theoretical maximum of up to 250. Buddy, you're not going to usurp MasterCard and Visa when they're doing somewhere between 1,500 and 6,000 depending on per second, depending on how you measure it. And again, I know. We're talking about credit cards, a different animal, but transactions per second, that's the vanity metric. The maximum, theoretical maximum, that means like in a perfect conditions with the sun out at 58 degrees and 250. And that's only if every single transaction is optimized to absolute perfection, which obviously never happens. Never happens. Okay. Smart contract failures. After years of hype and, bragging and self-important, smug smiling on his stupid videos, smart contracts were finally introduced via Alonzo in 2021. This is a while ago, man. 4 years ago. For people to discover that they couldn't handle more than one transaction per block due to the UTXO model constraints. Unspent transaction output. Like UTXO, because the whole thing was like, Charles, like, it's just as good as Bitcoin. No, it's not, Charles. Stop. So what is Cardano's solution? Increased block times, increased block sizes, and keep making slow tweaks while pretending the network is ready to scale. In reality, Cardano is so horrendously inefficient that it can't even sustain a single mid-sized Web3 game, let alone serve as a financial backbone for anything, but much less a nation state. What about all those deals in Africa? Oh, Nigeria, Sub-Saharan this. Yeah, we're going to do IDs and student visas. Oh, bullshit. They did nothing. So, again, I ask you, does Cardano, based on what we know now, does it answer the promise of the premise of being a reserve asset? Be honest. Don't think with your money right now. Because remember, these assets can behave financially in all sorts of wonky ways that have nothing to do with their actual value. We're digging into the tech. We're not even really destroying the team here. I'm not even teaming it. We're just doing like a few of the T's, technology and timing. We're just technology and timing it. We're not even doing the team. We're not even doing the tokenomics, like none of that. We're just attacking two of these, and they're coming up with goose eggs, man. Goose eggs. So let's talk XRP, formerly called Ripple. They used to be called Ripples, by the way. You hear people say that. Some old school people are like Ripples. It used to be Ripple was the token. Anyway, and then there was XRP and XLM. So there you go. Okay, so XRP, banking infrastructure without banks. Okay, go on. So if there's a crypto asset that has perfected the art of sounding impressive while failing basically all functionality, it is XRP. Ripple Labs spent over a decade promising that XRP would replace SWIFT, claiming that banks and financial institutions would inevitably shift to its lightning-fast settlement system. Well, no one apparently else believes this. No one showed up, not one bank, not one financial institution, nobody. They even invested in a company, and that company that they invested in won't use XRP for settlement. Think about that for a second. Go look at the MoneyGram deal. They bought into MoneyGram so that they could force them to use XRP, and they still don't do it. So let's dig in. TPS reality check. Transactions per second. Ripple claims that XRP can handle 1,500 transactions per second. The idea is that would be on par with credit cards, right? So, okay, at the low end, yes. At the high end of XRP and at the low end of your clunkiest credit card, yes. That number would be accurate. But as is usual with the people at Ripple, the actual stress testing showed that the network begins to fail at anything over 99 transactions a second. You get to 100, broken. So they're 15x away from what they already promised. So, I mean, I feel like, okay, let me put it to an example. You go out on a date, and the person that shows up is, 15 times bigger than their pictures. What if you showed up to an NBA draft and you were 15 times smaller than the 6'8" you had claimed, they would be like, what is this little fella doing? Get out of here. He's like a little rodent. Okay? So you can't do 100 transactions a second. How on earth are you going to replace the real banking infrastructure or even a single day of meme coin trading? This is the thing. People are like, oh, XRP has all these other uses. What other uses? Those uses require some transaction throughput. Goose egg. They have no native smart contracts. So despite existing for over a decade, XRP doesn't support smart contracts, meaning it can't host DeFi. It can't do tokenization. It can't do any complex financial instruments natively. You have to have these third-party workarounds like hooks and shit. And you have way more centralization and way more risk. And of course you have centralization because that's what that is. Speaking of centralized, let's talk about the validating situation. Validators. That whole ecosystem is centralized. XRP's validation is built on UNL, which is unique node list. Okay. It effectively means that Ripple decides which nodes matter and which don't. Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Grand Larceny, the douchebag committee of crooks, thieves, and whatever you want to call it. Some of them are decent guys, but not many. Not many. So they decide which nodes matter and which ones don't. Unlike Bitcoin, where miners are competing to secure the network, they're offering up their compute resources and their time and their money and all this kind of stuff. XRP is effectively a permissioned database controlled by a few trusted entities that are already in court for having stolen from everyone. When I say stolen from everyone, if you sell to a small group of people at a discount and they go and sell on the market, you're hurting the investor. You're hurting everyone. So yes, Brad Garlic-Mouth, and Chris Grand Larceny lied, fucking cheated, stole the tokens. When I say stole tokens, you say, well, how'd they steal those tokens? Because when the XRP token was created, the Ripple investors were not only were they not aware of it, they weren't even part of it. The token was gifted to a few specific people. Jeb McCaleb burnt off. The original investors in Ripple, they didn't get a distribution of XRP. They may have since, but they didn't then. It was like 4 people. They gave themselves, I don't know, like 30 or 40% of the supply, like a ridiculous amount. Like, is there any government where the government issues their currency and 30 to 40% of it stays in the hands of the president? Of the whole currency? All of it? Come on, man. It's so fucking dirty over there. They're so scummy. And they're scummy with garbage. They run a permission database. That is it. Ugh. Yuck. Anyway, does XRP, and even if you believe it has a good use case, which I think in probably years ago it did have a good use case, so did XLM. It was easy to move, but you still had to transfer back. That was always the problem. Okay, you can use XRP to move your money, but then you got to transfer back into like stablecoin. And those rails didn't exist. So you got screwed on the way in and screwed on the way out. You're like, well, if you're going to hit me for 1 or 2 points here and 1 or 2 points there, then what difference does it make that I saved 18 minutes? You fucked me for 4%. What difference does it make? So anyway, so even if you do believe that there's some weird, I don't know, obscure use case, right? Banks aren't using it. Their own partners aren't using it. They aren't using it. The XRP ledger doesn't even have to use XRP. It can use other assets. Their own layer, their own transmission layer doesn't need to use XRP. What does that tell you about well, first of all, do they care about the XRP token holders? No, you're their exit. So, but then forget about all that stuff I just said. Does any of the TPS, the reality of, basically 100 or less transactions per second, not obviously imagining their lies of 1,500, the inability to do any kind of smart contracts without using some weird third-party wraparound bullshit, and their centralized validation system. Does any of that scream to you reserve asset, time of need, chaos asset? Come on, bro. So yeah, and listen, Jason, obviously you want to try to front run group thinking, and you want to, but if you're following the money, you've already lost. You have to front run the money. I think this is a key thing. If you're following the money with publicly available information, you lose. That's how people exit on top of you, all over you. They exit all over your face. Oh, that sounded bad. Anyway, let's talk Solana, because maybe of the three, maybe Solana, the high-speed blockchain with a group of developers that also lie, cheat, steal. They lied about their market cap for quite a while. They got called out and then they got embarrassed. So they lied about their market cap. They cheated and stole. There was about 12.3 million Solana tokens that supposedly were going to be burned, that never got burned, that just got put in the developers' back pockets. And then when they got caught, because, on chain, it's all right there, they were like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we are supposed to burn that. And they burnt like 4 million of those tokens of the 12.3 million. I think that was the number. And then when people said, are you going to burn the rest? You fucking liars. Are you guys going to burn the rest of the tokens? They were like, let's just get past this. What do you mean, let's just get past this? This isn't Tron. This isn't Justin Sun. Why? Well, because all these VCs got in there at 4 cents a token. So, of course, it was in all of their best interest to absolutely fucking stick it to the retail investor. Like, bend everyone over and fucking destroy every one of you. Because, what do you think FTX is? Not much more than a way to offload Solana. At least in its inception, my guess is that was the main use case of FTX. It became a little bit more, and then obviously a lot less. But of course it was run by crooks and idiots and an orgy club and a super crypto bro orgy club in the Bahamas. You had VCs behind them sticking everyone the whole time, like jamming. I mean, anyway. But you know what? Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about its quality. Does it have the quality, the panache, the cachet to be a reserve asset? So, Solana's entire pitch is their speed, right? TPS. They're like amazing. 60,000 transactions per second. 60,000. Well, that would certainly beat MasterCard and everyone else on Earth. The problem is most of these transactions are internal consensus messages, meaning the real throughput for actual users, us, tokens, is on the best day, 300 to 500 transactions per second. Not even really a third of MasterCard or Visa. Solana has completely gone off. So again, real quick, which you guys let me know, because maybe my math is bad. I've never been really good at math. I say 60,000. I say I have 60,000 bucks in my account. And then when you look at my account, I have 300. So is 60,000 more or less than the 300 I actually have? And again, I'm not a math guy. This is partially mathematically rhetorical. You don't have to answer that. I get something around a 200x amount of bullshit. They're 200 times wrong. Imagine you show up at that first date and that other person, he or she, I don't have to say they anymore because we only have two pronouns again. He or she weighs 200 times more than they said. I weigh 105. Man. Okay. Solana has gone completely offline 11 times. Think about that for a second. Imagine if we were sitting here saying, Chase Bank has shut down 11 times in the last 3 years. 11 times? Holy crap, man. It has been also centrally restarted 11 times. You're like, wait, what do you mean? Oh, well, that's the cool thing. It's centralized. So they can just hit the restart switch in the middle, the company, the 6 or 8 of those douchebags. But I thought Solana was like decentralized. No. I mean, a lot of people hold the token. That's about it. Imagine holding a strategic reserve of an asset that can be turned off whenever those 2 douchebags want to turn it off. The 2 Russian surfer guys. It's like storing your nation's emergency fuel supply in a gas station, not only with frequent blackouts, but with 2 guys that are just like, I hate the government. No more oil. Click. Done. Okay, on top of that, validator concentration is extreme. Over 50% of Solana's stake is held by less than 20 validators, meaning a cartel of 11 insiders could severely influence network decisions, rollbacks, double spends, that kind of thing. The network is riddled with bot spam. In some cases, over 90% of Solana transactions are bots engaging in internal arbitrage, inflating numbers while doing absolutely nothing useful. And that's not great. So you look at the network activity, and if you know that up to 90% of it is bullshit, you're like, oh God. Well, you could say on the plus, Solana's user experience, their tooling, their implementation is very easy to use. Obviously, if you have little kids launching tokens, people have figured it out. So on the UX UI front, Solana, good. So it's easy to use, which is good. But based on what we know, the 200x lie about transaction throughput, the extreme concentration of validator control. Remember, 50%, over 50% of Solana's stake is held by less than 20 validators. 11 people or 2 decision makers could destroy this whole fucking thing. So does that sound like a strategic reserve asset? So you tell me, is there any of the 3, Solana, XRP, or ADA, are any of those assets do any of them meet any kind of, by any standard of a reserve asset? Reliability issues can be fixed. Well, yeah, but that's not the only issue, bro. It's not just that it crashes all the time. I mean, if that's all you got out of that, that's like saying, yeah, he's a serial killer, but listen, he can get a manicure. Yeah, but he still killed 13 people. We shouldn't let him out on the street. Buddy, get that guy a manicure. I think maybe you might be rose tinting your glasses a little bit, but anyway, whatever. Hey, listen, if you like it, do it. Listen, I'm not telling anybody what to do. My name's Bennett, and I ain't in it. Okay, let's see. The XRP story you painted has worrying parallels to what seems to be happening at Hypercycle. No, not even close. What are you talking about? Is the C next to the X? Yes. Okay, you meant not Hypercycle. No. How on earth would those, buddy? What were you just listening to? What story did you hear? Because the one in my head that I told has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on over at Hypercycle. But you know what? If that's what you got out of it, all right. I'm gonna have to work on my delivery. Why even have ETH as a reserve? Because all of the world's DeFi runs on Ethereum. But that's a good argument too, Mitch. That's also a legitimate argument. The only thing you could maybe argue is, Ethereum as a kind of like oil kind of right? Like Ethereum could be looked at as oil, Bitcoin could be looked at as gold, that kind of thing. Anyway, let's wrap this up. So the major problems with the supposed crypto reserve are that all three assets are incredibly centralized. Ripple controls all the XRP validators. Solana's network is frequently rebooted by insiders. Cardano is primarily governed by a corporate entity, and although now I think without Charles things would be better, but that whole thing would collapse because that whole group of fanboy douchebag like cuckolds, those guys can't run shit. His idea of governance is I'm rich now, I'll just let everyone have everything so I can't get sued. That's Charles' idea of governance. So how is this different from holding stock as a reserve asset, from holding shares of Apple and Netflix and shit like that? Like how's this any different? How are any of those assets strategically important? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, all three assets fail under any kind of real pressure, whether it's Cardano's microscopic block capacity, XRP's inability to handle real-world banking volumes, and also no smart contracts, Solana crashing under its own weight. These projects cannot scale. That's the real problem. So even if they took on some money function, some currency function, which would be weird to imagine, but even if they did, they can't scale. They don't scale. None of them. Now, could you say, well, in the future? Yeah, but you can say, well, in the future for anything. The point is, right now, are any of these viable? No. Fucking no. Not even close. None of them are used in the real economy. None. Unlike Bitcoin, which actually has a history of usage in commerce, remittances, infrastructure, no one is using Cardano. No one is using XRP. And the only people using, really, Solana are crooked VCs and fucking retards that drive Uber. Be honest. No one in the real world is using these things. It doesn't make any sense. So while Bitcoin was invented to eliminate the need for custodians, reserves, centralized financial intermediaries, and all that, the idea of holding a strategic reserve of crypto, of all these weird tokens, it misses the entire point of what Satoshi was trying to create. So instead of clunky, unscalable, mostly centralized tokens kind of politically pushed into this weird argument about strategic assets, maybe people should not do that, and focus back on why Bitcoin, just Bitcoin, makes the most sense. And if you were going to make an argument for Ethereum, and it's a hard one, but if you were going to, and you have your work cut out for you, you would say that Ethereum would look something like oil if Bitcoin looks something like gold. And then you had Peter Schiff came in. This is the first time I think I've ever agreed with Peter Schiff. Here, I think I have a picture of him. Let's see if I can get the picture. Here, get up there, you. Do you guys see Pete? Do we see Pete? Good old Pete. So the question is Pete right? He claims that Trump's strategic crypto reserve tweets illustrate the biggest rug pull of all time. I don't know if it's the biggest rug pull of all time, but he accuses Trump of a massive crypto pump and dump scheme after his Truth Social posts caused a market spike and then subsequent crash. Well, they did, and they did. I hope they don't find that some people made a lot of money off this that were dirty. That would be frustrating. Schiff, who, by the way, doesn't live in the United States, is demanding a congressional investigation into who wrote the posts. Well, we know it was Trump's family, not Trump. Who knew in advance? Trump's family and all their friends. Probably not Trump, because I don't think he cares right now. And who profited? Trump's family and all Trump's friends, and all their little insider bullshitty people. Probably, I mean, this is just the way it is. But you know what? Elon Musk was pumping Dogecoin and he didn't really get in trouble either. And that was bullshit. That was like borderline illegal. Anyway, Between Sunday and Monday, Bitcoin hit $95,000 before crashing back to what it is now, 81 and change. Let's see. It's low. It is low, bro. Let's see. I haven't even looked. I didn't want to look. It scared me to look. 82.3. Oh. Okay, so yeah, it's a little bit lower than 95. Ethereum dropped in the last day 23%. A lot of people getting melted right now. A lot of people with long leverage got just racked. Over the weekend, Donald Trump pulled what Peter Schiff refers to as the biggest crypto rug pull of all time, which I don't know. But anyway, Schiff is mostly a longtime gold lover, crypto hater. So he is accusing Trump of orchestrating a pump and dump scheme with his announcement of a U.S. strategic crypto reserve. The announcement, which sent prices soaring, which was a little weird. It was two announcements. The first one was XRP, Cardano, Solana. And then it came back and said, oh, and also Bitcoin and Ethereum. It doesn't really look well thought out. It looks a little bit like his kids got control of the True Social account. Anyway, the announcement sent prices skyrocketing for a few hours, and then they started to crash. And they started to crash into yesterday, and then last night, and right now they are people getting melted. Hi, Kitty. Kitty's not getting melted. So Schiff, who is now calling for a congressional investigation, and of course they'll listen to him because, oh wait, isn't he being investigated himself? Yes. Weird and uncomfortable, Schiff. Anyway. He wants a congressional investigation into the entire situation, demanding to know who wrote these posts, who knew about them in advance, and who cashed out before the market tanked. Schiff demands answers on alleged pump and dump scheme. Bitcoin, Ether, Cardano, XRP, and Solana, the tokens mentioned that will be in the reserve, had all seen some gains on Sunday, but by Monday, Bitcoin had tumbled 8%, sitting at 86. It's now at 82 or 83. Ethereum plunged 15% to 2,100. It's now at 2,000, so that's now 22%. Crypto stocks followed suit, with Coinbase falling 4.6%, Robinhood dropping 6.4%, and even MicroStrategy, which initially rallied, reversed course, so it's closed down. In his post on Twitter, X, whatever, he said, how much money those with advance notice spent buying XRP, ADA, Solana, BTC, and ETH, and if they sold, the exact timing of those sales and the proceeds received. One thing he did say that was funny, he said on X, he said, I get the rationale for a Bitcoin reserve. Matter of fact, here, it's pretty good. Peter Schiff, he's kind of a weirdo, but like sometimes he's funny. He's like a funny idiot. But anyway, whatever. I get the rationale for Bitcoin reserve. I don't agree with it, but I get it. We have a gold reserve. Bitcoin's digital gold, which is better than analog gold. So let's create a Bitcoin reserve too. But what's the rationale for an XRP reserve? Why the hell would we need that? I mean, is he wrong? Oh my God. Anyway, he's claiming we also need all emails or text messages that involve any member of the president's staff, his family, their friends, campaign donors, True Social employees that relate to either of the two Sunday Truth Social posts. Well, that's a lot. And as a matter of fact, that's not all. Schiff pointed out that despite Trump's Ethereum hype, Ethereum ETFs still hit record lows, sinking 40% since their launch 8 months ago. Yeah, Ethereum has not performed well and sitting 49% below their December 2023 highs. The worst part for investors is that Ethereum still has a long way to fall. I don't know. I don't know that Schiff knows anything about anything in crypto. So for him to go from hating Bitcoin to giving people investment advice about Ethereum is maybe stupid. So again, we don't have to like everything someone says. We can take bits and pieces. Schiff is also coming for Strategies Microsailor, who is obviously the orange-pilled Bitcoin psychopath Maxi. In another post, he said Saylor claims the U.S. government should buy Bitcoin as it will be the best performing asset in the world. He says it's certain the price will rise 100x over time. If that's true, why doesn't the government have to buy it all? Just let Americans buy it themselves and get rich, right? Like, like that's the thing. He needs the next buyer, right? Michael Saylor's looking always for the next person to cover his ass for all of the debt he's absorbing and taking on. So while the White House has actually stayed pretty quiet on this, they didn't even mention anything. David Sachs, Trump's AI and crypto czar, teased more to come with upcoming with the White House summit on Friday. So yes, the market looks like a dumpster fire crap show right now. I get it. And people are getting nuked. I get it. But I would not be making big decisions until perhaps the hype starts to swell and froth for Friday's summit. Invariably, there's going to be people that are mad and people that are happy, people that feel like, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to keep beating up on the fact that XRP, ADA, and Solana don't belong in. They don't really belong in anybody's portfolio, but they especially don't belong in anything that labeled a strategic reserve. That's just stupid. That's just it's monumentally fucking stupid. So we'll see. I'm not gonna keep beating that horse. She ain't gonna sing no more. But we'll see Friday. Who knows? God, what if they list 10 more assets and then the whole thing just becomes a total shit show? So we'll see. We'll see. I don't even know what to predict out of this freaking summit. Did you guys know? I don't know if I told you this. When I was at Money Morning, they wanted me to go and interview. They wanted me to go to the Bahamas for one of these bullshit summits. I think the Salt Summit. And they wanted me to interview Bankman Fried Chicken. And I said no because he's a fucking crook. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, he's a crook. He's crooked. He's a scumbag. So I think one of the other guys went. Grant. I think Grant went. And then Grant told me privately, he's like, he is kind of stupid. I was like, I know, right? Like, the guy's not a genius. This is way before they crashed. So it's funny. We both independently I came to the conclusion he was a creep. Original. I had a tweet from like years ago where I said, orange is the new black for Sam Bankman-Fried or whatever. And I showed like a jumpsuit. Anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah. Oh yes. Prayers for Howard for sure. Okay. Random question. How does the low Ethereum price affect the ETH function? It doesn't. It does. In a sense, it may help a little bit because it would reduce fees. Because fees are based in Ethereum, you pay your fees in Ethereum. Therefore, if Ethereum is cheaper, your fees are cheaper. Therefore, it should increase network activity that might have been offloaded to layer twos. But when people kind of leave and go to a layer two, they're reluctant to come back because, honestly, if I could do everything on Base right now, I would do everything on Base. Why would you ever use Ethereum? You use Base, you can do all sorts of cool stuff. It costs nothing. It's basically free. Ethereum is not so much. So yeah, there's that. There's that right there. Okay. Yes. Let's look at the markets. Oh, it's painful. I warn you. Did anybody go and do their wallet checks, all that kind of stuff for Rejuve? Did you guys get all that sorted? Anyone? Did you guys do that? I think the Cardano part of it wasn't working yet. So you couldn't leave a Cardano wallet, but you could at least sign up for it. And remember, all you have to do is register your wallet. You don't have to exit. You can wait a year for your worthless Rejuve tokens. It'll be less than a penny by the time. I can't imagine what is it? Probably half a penny right now. It can't be more than a penny. So they're just giving you dust. They're giving you bullshit. Anyway. Free is free. That's right. Even Rejuve. Free is free. But you didn't get your tokens, right? Green, you didn't actually get them yet. I have my Cardano wallets and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't give me a place to put them. Okay. Let's see. Is there any reason that GMRT is still not? Oh, good question. I saw that earlier. I don't know why it's not. Brandon said it's the way they index was like once a week. They would do a sweep or something like that. And and I haven't seen it. I use Lace Wallet as well. I don't know why it's not on there. What you can do is fill out the little questionnaire to add a token. Like if you don't see it, I filled one out. If you go to Live Coin Watch, you can do that. Like over here, when you go search, you say GMRT. No. Oh, there was an error. I found an error. So anyway, yeah. Deep coin, Dogecoin. And I think there's a place to add a token at the bottom. Request a coin. I'm a team member. No, just a holder. And so you can do the website, the project link, platform, enter the contract address. So you would go, like if we're doing a real quick version, we could go to Node Market. I think we have token index. I think we have the contract token address right here. So I can just copy that. It is copied. Then I can go back over here. I can put in the contract address. Okay, enter the website, the gamecompany.ai. Yeah, I'm not a robot. Submit. Success. So I think if many of us do that, right there, if many of us do that over on Live Coin Watch. So again, you go to the bottom of the screen, request a coin, and then use the contract address. It's there on it's on Node Market. Thegamecompany.ai, www.thegamecompany.ai, and I think that might possibly work. Maybe. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go look at markets for un momentito, and then we will call it a day. I know some people were kind of like, oh, I'm so frustrated. Prices are down, but you got to get past that. Is there anybody here? Let me know in the chat. Is there anybody here that was going to sell today? Everything was going to be sold today. They picked it. It's Tuesday. Next Tuesday, I'm going to sell everything. Tuesday, it's all gone. Everything must go. If that's you, I apologize for all this crazy shit. But if that's not you, then what are you worried about? Right? Am I right? Am I right? All right. Okay. Let's go and let's switch up this little music a little bit. Get something a little bit more markety. Let me go a little bit bigger so you can see the screen more. Okay. We're not going to talk specifically. You're welcome. We're not going to talk specifically about what to buy, but we will talk about if I'm going through this, one, I know that, again, near term, people have been getting their asses handed to them now for fucking 7 weeks straight. It's every weekend. It's like no matter what. And when you see that kind of perpetual, continual selling, you realize there's a selling bias. It's not the news. It's psychology. It's human psychology. I really don't mean that in a wide painted brush. I'm saying when anything that happens creates this kind of selling, and it's every single week, and people can say it's manipulation, it's this, it's that, it's skullduggery and tomfoolery and all this kind of shit. No, it is that there is a negative bias in society right now, in particular in the crypto space. People are scared. People are selling. Remember, there's a lot of new money since November. And I think until just about all of it's gone, all of it, we're not going to get those big moves back up. So, try to keep that in the back of your mind that when the sentiment is negative, there's going to be selling. When the sentiment is positive, there's going to be a lot of buying. And no amount of common sense works on either side of the equation, right? So it's like what we say, you can be right or you can be rich. You can be prideful or you can be profitable. And so for me, what I would be looking at is I would be looking at positions where during these big sell-offs, I'm still doing good on certain assets. And I would ask why. Why are the assets that I'm doing good on, I'm still doing good? Is it because I was really early? Is it because they didn't sell off as hard as some of the assets? Like, try to figure out your winners, even though your portfolio might be suffering. Try to figure out what your relative winners are doing and why. Why is this asset only down 4 or 5%? Everybody else is getting killed. Is it because there's not a lot of people that have access to it? It's hard to sell it. It's like there may be many reasons. You want to know the state of your assets. The front runners, the headliners, their underperformance is what it is. And again, that's that negative sentiment and bias bleeding into these markets where people start selling everything they have. When they start losing money, think about a smaller portfolio where someone's been in the market 2 or 3 months. If you got into the market in November and then starting December 13th and every single week after that, you lost 10% of your net worth, you're pretty pissed. You're like, crypto's a scam. I'm out. And mostly that's good. Those people don't need to be in the market. They don't need to be wasting money and blowing money on crap projects. And also, they're not wrong. They're right for the wrong reasons. They don't know they're correct, but they're correct. Most of crypto is a scam. Same thing with these AI projects. Most AI projects are a scam. NewNet, Fetch, SingularityNet, Cogito, Sophiaverse. Scam, 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 scam. All of it. Junk. And you say, okay, how do we get Pied Piper into that? Van Gorsel. It is what it is. We believed in a person, we followed that person, and he took us down into a dark, sucking hole of depression. But if you played your cards right, you made money along the entire path. And if you were selling on a regular basis, taking profit programmatically, sure, you give back some from your imaginary high, but you stockpiled enough. And as long as you were taking money off the table, which again, you don't deploy all your money right back in the market because that's just re-gambling. Some of your win has to leave the market, right? I'm not a Cardano hater. Cardano bought me a house, man. Charles and his fat ass bought me a house back when I believed in it. But you know what I also believed in? Taking money off the table on a regular basis, because otherwise you can't materially make any difference in your life. Being paper rich, being paper secure, having paper money, until it's in your bank account or doing something for you, it's not doing anything for you. It's just semantics. It's a decoration you can hang on, it doesn't mean anything. So you have to make changes that materially affect your life. So these down markets, I like them. It feels settled. I don't think I'm missing anything right now. When you see these markets down and quiet like this, these projects getting pummeled, I'm like, okay, so what? Like, I don't feel like I'm losing out, right? When markets start going up, you start getting those feelings like, oh crap, I don't have the right ones. The other ones are going up that I don't have. Everything's going up and I don't own it. And all these really defeatist kind of placing yourself as some kind of weird victim-y kind of thing. No. You still have to make good decisions. You still have to make good choices and analyze your assets that are performing well, even under pressure. I was kind of hoping Bitcoin would get lower because I'd love to buy back the Bitcoin that I got out of in November. I'd love to get back, but we still haven't really retraced. And I'm wondering if that's what the psychology of the world is right now, that we need that retracement. Pre-fire sale, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be programmatic. It just has to be. You have to be a robot with this stuff. Otherwise, you'll spend your whole life second guessing also. Oh, I should have done this, or what if I had done that, or I should have done. No, you can't live like that. It's miserable. So don't do it. Yeah. Okay. Let's call it a day. I think the week will end up pretty good. Tomorrow they'll start talking about the summit. Thursday they'll really be bigging up the summit. There may be some more press releases going into the summit. I think there's a good chance that Thursday and Friday are great. Howard in the house. He's alive. He's alive. I told the nurses to feed you Jell-O till you choke to death, Howard, but apparently they didn't listen to me. Anyway, don't let yesterday and today sour your decision-making process. Okay? All right. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything my poor and solvent drunk, struggling on meth grandmother wouldn't do. He's very little. And Brandon's enjoying the Mexican heat right now. Son of a bitch. And for all the rest of us that have to endure these 70-degree weather and heated swimming pools, I guess we'll just, we too shall endure.
Terrified, wandering mind, the seams have come undone. You've been telling lies to these eyes as if they'd never seen the sun. Now you've let your guard down and your heart is exposed. Now you've let your guard down, but how could you have known that I'm the big fish round here? You're a small fish. I could make you disappear. You should know this. I'm the big fish round here. You're a small fish. I could make